From the wildwoods of Vancouver Island, welcome to the Sotapod. Isha Droma here alongside the State of Hoppy, and thank you for joining us wherever and whenever you are listening on episode 252 of the Sotapod. How's it going, Hoppy?
It's going all right. It's actually way better than all right. I tried to play that down. We have the annual holiday in Minnesota that is the high school state hockey tournament. So excited, especially after last year, obviously not being able to go. This is pretty, it's just near and dear to my heart, man.
This is your World Juniors, right? Because like for Canadians, like the World Juniors is, I think, it's on another level how much we love it, even compared to American hockey fans. But this is like your World Juniors being from Minnesota, right? In
a sense, but it's a little different because like I'm going to have a good time no matter what. Like there's no Team Minnesota, right? They're all Minnesotan teams. Whereas for you, you're all about the World Juniors because that's like what you expect to go in and dominate. Like you're ready for like you're all behind Canada. I know you watch all the games, don't get me wrong, but it's like the reason that Canada's obsessed is because Canada's usually got the top ranked team.
True, but I think it's also just because we love prospects and like and I'm not the only one who will just watch like Kazakhstan get blown out to whoever the fuck because it's just part of the event, right?
Sure.
But anyways.
So yeah, man, it's exciting. It's actually the last live event I went to right before everything got shut down initially when COVID hit. So
wow. So before even we met.
Yeah, man.
I guess we haven't really officially met now. I only know Hoppy through a fucking webcam.
True. That is fair. But man, it's the Friday of the tournament. So how it breaks down for any random listener that might not know, or particularly you, Isha, there's 8 teams for both classes. There's Class A and Class AA, and that's just mostly based on school size. There's definitely some exceptions. But Wednesday, all day, so there's a morning session and a night session for Wednesday through Friday. Morning session, there's 2 games. On Wednesday, it's going to be all AA. So they're going to play at like 11 and 1, give or take. And then there's a break. And then you play again 6 and 8, which again are loose because it's usually not 2 hours. Right. But so all of the single A matchups go on Wednesday. All of the double A matchups go in the same format on Thursday. And then Friday, you get all of the single A matchups for the morning slots of the 4 teams left. And then you get all the double A ones in the evening. And that is the day I go because by then you've weeded out the teams that shouldn't be there or the ones that are just going to get spanked.
Yeah.
And it's just a full day of chaos. Like you go and watch all of these games. You go and check out the Let's Play Hockey Expo with that. I don't even know how to begin explaining that. It's pretty much all equipment, merchandise, apparel, anything that's related to hockey. There's booths all over. And I think I saw something about Bar Down Beauties actually having a booth in there. So that'll be cool to maybe go check them out. But ultimately, the double A night games on that Friday, if you show up and just try to buy tickets from the box office, which is for some people the only way to get in, you will wait in a line that's literally like half-mile long. It's ridiculous. And that's to get like a nosebleed seat. So it's something different, man.
That's amazing. It sounds like something I would, that's right up my alley.
Well, there's going to be a couple kids you're going to watch that are for sure going to end up in the show at some point.
Right. No, of course that, but just like a great, I say grassroots, but like state, wide hockey tournament, and it's at the XL Energy Center. So just space for all these booths and stuff like that too. Cause we've had like, I've gone to hockey events and stuff, locally that are hosted by like the junior leagues and stuff, but they're all just at smaller rinks too. So just like you can't pack a lot of people in there. It's not a big tournament. It's not the state tourney like in Minnesota. Like growing up, even though I wasn't a huge hockey fan until I got into high school, like I always knew what junior hockey was because growing up, like I just would go to junior hockey games all the time. It's just part of the culture. But even then, without being a hockey nerd and someone, even my family followed hockey that much through whether it was like, Disney sports movies or friends who played whatever, even house hockey. Like I just always knew of Minnesota's high school hockey tournaments. Like even just hanging out with my dad as a kid who was watching Sports Center, like around this time you would see, whether it was the hair flow or, the showing off the hair, right? Because that's like the highlight of it. All these kids showing off their salads, or, actual highlights that TSN would show and be like, this is high school hockey. And they would talk about how they don't have that in Canada. And anyways, long and the short of it, even from a young age, and someone up here in Canada who didn't follow hockey a lot, like, it still was something we knew about. So it's such a huge deal, I think, in the hockey world, not just in Minnesota.
And what I'll leave you with before I transition real quick to another one of the beers that you so graciously sent me, the big difference for me on what makes the high school hockey tournament like just so different than any other hockey tournament out there is that you're literally going out there and competing with your buddies that you've played with since you were 5.
Right.
Like, it just hits in such a different way. Like, with the exception of the fucking private schools, which we don't have to get into, but like, really, if you make it to the state tournament, these are guys that you've played with your whole life. You're probably never going to play with them again because you're about to go off to college or who knows what the fuck.
Yeah.
And all go your different ways. And this is like your last hoorah, like the coolest stage to do it on, going and playing at the X in front of a full house. It's just wild.
No, it sounds amazing. Before we get into the Hoppy Hour and then, some high school hockey talk, just want to give a shout out to our friends at 7th Avenue Pizza. Look, if you haven't already, folks, I don't know what you're doing. Go try the meat sauce pizza because it wails. You can find them pretty much everywhere in Minnesota now. Follow them at 7th Avenue Pizza to stay current on where you can find yours locally. But like I said, like they're on almost every single shelf now, Hoppy. It's unbelievable to see. So go get you some 7th Ave pizza. Look, I've had the best frozen pizza in British Columbia, but apparently it's still got nothing on 7th Ave. So I can't wait. Like, that's honestly, Hoppy, like, I'm excited to see you, yes, but like, I'm more excited to try 7th Ave pizza.
That's a fair scale. That's a fair scale. And everywhere except for fucking Target, we're watching your ass, Target. Don't be bitches. Get 7th Ave pizza. And we actually have, we got to have a little chat with our boy Jason over at Wabasha too, Isha. He's promoting his Heggies that he's been selling out of the tap room. We're gonna have a nice little sit down. But
by the way, if he's listening, you gotta tell Hoppy if you have a second TV pronto, because if not, we have to fucking make some different plans.
Yeah,
I ain't missing UFC 273.
Yep, and I'm not missing the Natty. So we'll have to find somewhere with 2 TVs. Hopefully that's with you, Jason. But yeah, and then we have Northland Vodka. Obviously, you've heard us talk about them nonstop. Mark Parrish made a great brand, and of course, he continues to go out and be their head promoter, signing bottles like crazy. We've got cool hats popping off with Soda Stick, but I can tell you firsthand, I've had it in many different forms, whether that's with Fresca, whether that's in a martini, whether that's in a Bloody Mary, Screwdriver. It's all fucking good. Buy it. It's delicious. Jump on it. Again, follow them at Northland Vodka.
There you go. And if you want more SodaPod content, we're pumping out the content now, folks, both on our YouTube channel and on the SodaPod podcast feed every Monday and Wednesday. Yours truly, myself in the state of Hoppy. Every Tuesday, you get Prospect Fix with Spoke Z for the judd'z buds. Every Thursday on a separate feed, if you're a beer fan, Brewery Travels, the Brewery Travels podcast, hosted by Joel Geyer, our boy. And on our feed, the Minnesota Wild collaboration podcast. And then on Friday, MNCAA Minnesota Division 1 College Hockey podcast. Unbelievable stuff. Nick Maxon and some great guests. I mean, last week's segment with Marissa was, it was the last segment of the show, but it was hands down the best because she forgot about it. And she's just so candid and brings so much, just energy to their segment and her work that she does with Mankato that she came on just with all the energy in the world, just, calling herself, oh, hey, Nick, I know I almost forgot the interview. So fuck, here we go, blah, blah, blah. Nick just is a pro. So he rolled with it and it was unbelievable. Her knowledge of Mankato is great. She's, like I said, she covers Mankato for their broadcast and for the local broadcast there too. So again, MNCAA, great college hockey fix going into now. Well, the finals, the tournaments, the playoffs. I don't know all the right terms for it, but the end of the year where it matters, go check it out. And I mean, this week coming up too, there's going to be a lot talking about that fucking St. Thomas and Mankato game where St. Thomas got robbed of a win. 100%.
Not necessarily robbed of the win.
Robbed of the opportunity.
Robbed of the opportunity. Yeah.
Which, like, man, you got to feel for them. And the coach just going off too. I know we're getting off on a tangent here, but like I saw the clips. I saw our boy Ryan and retweeting them. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy, but yeah, man. College hockey, MNCAA. You can find all the interviews live on YouTube. In video format. That is on YouTube. We're basically posting a video a day. Every Sunday, we have live streams, whether that's our 2-hour hockey talk show or watch alongs on Minnesota game days. So again, YouTube channel and our podcast, you have so much content to digest. Hit us up on social media at the sodapod. And as always, we are powered by DraftKings, a leader in daily fantasy sports. Use promo code THPN upon sign up for a bonus. And if you're a regular user, plug that promo code in for a weekly deal. Let's get into the hoppy hour here before we talk some Minnesota high school hockey here on episode 252 of the Sotapod. Our hobby, what are you drinking? What's the next one out of the British Columbia beer care package?
Right out of your backyard, we have Wildeye Brewing in the north part of Vancouver.
Oh, there you go. They got a full disclosure. This was the one beer out of the care package that like I've never had. I sent the beers out of Nanaimo, British Columbia. I thought I'd include a Nanaimo bar beer in that package. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Nanaimo bars. They're a little too sweet for myself. My grandfather used to have a Nanaimo bar for breakfast in his later years, so they still I want to like them, and I continue to eat them because like my grandpa's has since passed, and it's something that's like near and dear to the family. But I just wish I liked the damn things. But having said that, do you like the damn things, and do you like that beer?
So for me, it's a matter of the content here, where it's like 5.5%. A Nanaimo bar beer should not be 5.5% because I'm getting a really like light, mellow beer that's just sweet, right?
Right.
Where the best one that I've ever had, I had a Nanaimo bar beer that was a collaboration between our good friends at Back Channel and hopefully soon to be friends at Portage Brewing. And I mean, it was like an 11%er. So it had a thickness, it had that richness to it, but it had that backing where like the sweet wasn't as overpowering, where right now I'm literally getting sweet and like nothing behind it.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. Like I'm happy drinking it right now, but definitely nothing compared to the Nutty Uncle, and definitely not something that I'd go out of my way to buy. But it's not a bad beer. It's not bad. Like I would try a different Wildeye beer to see, if they stack up. But Isha, I've got it's so funny because you didn't even read this or know about it. But on the can, they have like a little conversation back and forth. So there's the person sitting down to order, and then there's the Canadian. So there's, I'd like an oatmeal stout and a Nanaimo bar, please. Sure thing. Here you go, eh? Where's the Nanaimo bar? It's in there just like you asked, eh? Oh, I might have knocked the salt shaker over the blender there, eh? Wait, what? It's good, eh? Oh, wow. That's the whole conversation.
You didn't have to add like the extra accent. You could have just talked to Minnesotan, and it would have.
But then you wouldn't have known which one was talking at which time.
Fair enough.
I was trying to separate it. I could have had you read it, but you don't have it in front of
you. I feel like the Canadian in that scenario sounded more Minnesotan than Canadian there, but that's okay. That's okay. I won't fault you for that. It was awesome.
Minnesota wouldn't say eh. Actually, I say a decent amount. Not like just like the end sentences, but if I'm like asking someone like right, I'll just be like, yeah, that's correct, eh?
Yeah, that's how that's how I think I use it all the time. I don't think I overly use a either, but I'm used to everyone else saying it that I don't really even notice it. I mean, there's so many other Canadianisms other than a that stand out more, like bud. Oh my god, one of the partners at
I'm not your buddy guy.
No, yeah, well, I just had one of our partners at Amaze Media Labs now after our meetings have just started calling either Dylan or myself bud, and it's just, and it's just like, I want to be Canadian too type thing. And it's just,
I want to fit in.
God bless his soul, but it's just hilarious.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
It was just like, all right, great call. See you later, bud. And I was like, that came out of nowhere. Absolutely love it. But I mean, in most of our meetings now, because we have a lot of Canadians working with us at Amaze, right? Brandon Rewicki and Josh, our partners, the Americans, they're the odd mans out now. It's a Canada takeover.
The odd mans. The odd mans.
The odd men. The odd man.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I
Anyways.
almost missed that because I was watching a beautiful snipe by Nikolai Ehlers there, but no, I didn't miss it.
What's the score, by the way? What's the score? I guess it doesn't matter for the podcast. I'm just personally curious.
For you, it's 2-1 Rangers. And
Okay.
yeah, anyone listening, this is on
It doesn't
Sunday,
matter.
so you don't give a shit.
It doesn't matter. I'm about to crack the Superpower, which I'm sure Hoppy actually would dig this one. It is a hazy double IPA. Apparently, it's 8%. This thing is gonna give you fucking superpowers. If you can even see it. Fucking light. Light does
give me a
not do
seizure.
this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Usually Phillips. Oh, okay.
How is it?
Oh, okay. Hold on. I haven't cracked it. I'm about to crack here in a sec. Top 10 superpowers: mind control, elemental control, telekinesis, teleportation, super strength, super speed, healing, shape-shifting, invisibility, flight, and number 11, fermentation. Even though it's the top 10 superpowers, number 11 is fermentation. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'll crack it here in a bit. I'm still nursing.
Well, it's 10 options American. Canadian, that's higher.
Oh, there you go. Shout out Phillips, man. Phillips has been on a run lately. I talked about them on the last podcast and in the live stream. Unbelievable stuff.
Shit, I'm going to be talking about him here soon.
Yeah. I mean, the Electric Unicorn is one of my favorites. I know I've overhyped it, as I tend to do on things. Hoppy, Shane, Dylan, they'll call me out. Usually overhype things. So I probably overhyped the Electric Unicorn, but I fucking love it. It was my gateway, other than Blue Buck, which is a staple on Vancouver Island, into the more crazier IPAs, we'll say. Like the Electric Unicorn was what brought me in. But anyways. Let's move on and talk some high school hockey. It's a special Wednesday episode. We don't have a guest. We usually do guest segments on Wednesday if we drop an episode, but today we wanted to do something special because of the state tourney firing up. Hoppy, I'll hand things over to you.
Tourney. Yes. And want to preface this with, we'll be posting, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, obviously we'll be posting the single A, and double A will be going up on Thursday, but we will be giving out one of the hockey hair hoodies from Sota Stick to whoever, well, one of the people that follows us, shares, and properly guesses the championship matchup and victor.
There you go.
We'll start here by going into the single A, which is always, it's just different, right? So Isha, you don't know this, but the single A, usually there's going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 real teams out of the 8. There's a couple that get in off of soft sections. So, sometimes you're going to see some blowouts that first day. So just preparing you or anyone else that isn't familiar, if you watch any of the games. So first game on Wednesday, we have Warroad against Monticello, both of which are kind of regulars. Warroad's been in and out recently because we've had people like East Grand Forks that have been making big bouts, but Monticello's kind of dominated their section of late. Isha, who's your pick here? Just off of name.
Monticello.
All right. Isha's going with the random draw, which, yeah, maybe I should cover that for you first, Isha. This is, I hate it personally. Others might disagree with me because they don't want to hurt feelings, but
yeah.
They seed the top 5 out of the 8 teams, and then the last 3 are just randomly assigned.
That's what I
fucking hate it.
I saw it was like random draw. That is definitely an interesting way to seed. But
it just sucks if you should have been the 6th seed and then you get thrown up against the 1 seed. It's like,
no,
fuck.
for sure. But the Monticello Moose, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fucking love the Moose.
Warroad is where TJ Oshie and Brock Nelson came from.
Ooh, interesting.
But you've already picked Monticello. So
I'm going with the Moose. Let's go.
All right, second matchup, another random draw being Mankato East against Matamidi, who's been quite the regular of late.
A lot of M's
won themselves. Minnesota, yeah, I guess. Matamidi, who is the 3 seed, they've been pretty regularly one of the top couple seeds the last couple of years. Isha, Mankato, Matamidi.
We'll go with the underdogs, the random draw again in Mankato East.
All right, so Isha's just going full send. I love it. Next one, the 1 seed Hermantown against random draw New Prague.
Oh man,
And Hermantown, they had to sweat this one out, man. They
really,
so they're like, people are pretty high on them as a program.
Yep.
And they had to sweat out an 11-0 championship game. I think I know we've got a good friend here, of course, who covers Duluth for us for MNCAA. Max, Veach, you and I will disagree on this forever, but I absolutely hate that Hermantown basically plays a AA schedule, but will never leave single A because, they're a smaller school. Well, it's going to get boring at some point. I hate it. Whatever. They'll probably win again, but that's pretty much what I cheer for in single A, is for someone to beat Hermantown.
All right, well then we have to choose the random draw.
Well, no, random draw won't win. They're going to lose in the next round. First round will only happen last year when all of the kids except for their stud got taken out of the game for COVID. So it was their best player with all the JV kids. And it was competitive. But they lost.
Okay.
Zam Plant, who's going to be a fucking stud, by the way. But yeah, Hermantown's going to win that one. Last one, the 4 versus the 5, always the best game. And of course, fuckers make it the latest game. I hate that. But the latest game, we have Alexandria, the 5 seed, against Minneapolis, the 4 seed, which, Isha, we talked about this in the live stream, but Minneapolis is actually a group of kids that my brother and a college buddy both coached them as AA Bantams, and a lot of the kids go off and play at private schools, but the ones that were left over managed to make it through. Apparently they're in my old section now. They were never there when I played there, but beat Duluth, Ben Meyer's alma mater, which, it'd be so cool if he ended up at the Wild, but I've already accepted that it probably won't happen. But squeaked through, got here. Minneapolis, Alexandria. What are we going with?
We got to go with your brother's team in Minneapolis.
All right, we're going Minneapolis.
You hear that, Joe? We're supporting your boys.
So there's not much drama to talk through here. There weren't any crazy upsets, right? The top dog from 7 made it. The top dog from 8 made it. We got Hermantown and War Road. Matamidi, we knew would get through. And Minneapolis was the 1 seed for their section, but that was probably the most interesting path. But the rest of these, nothing too crazy to report. So we'll see what happens. But again, everyone, we want to know what the championship matchup is, who's going to win. Follow us, share the post on Wednesday, and you will be entered for one of the Sota Stick hoodies. Now we've got AA. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting because we had some fucking craziness happening here. Because up here, Isha, there's maybe one team that squeaks through that's not great, but usually AA is creme de la creme. And there were some really interesting tournaments leading up.
I even recognize a lot of the names here just from, again, covering the Minnesota Wild for 2 years and talking with you and other hockey fans. Obviously the high school names come up and I'm like, these are the teams that I know now looking at this bracket.
For sure. And it's interesting too, because there's a lot that you've heard of and that that got beaten before getting in. That's what makes it crazy is no team is a lock to get in no matter what their reputation is. So for the first, let's go through the seeding initially. Okay. So we got the 1 seed Hill Murray, who beat White Bear Lake in really what I'm going to call the Sota Stick matchup here, because White Bear Lake apparently blocked Sota Stick, and they immediately came out and said, well, guess what? We're going to be Hill Murray supporters then.
I saw that. That's insane.
So Landon, your team made it. They're the 1 seed. I hate Hill Murray, but I'll support them for you in just that sense. Number 2 seed, another private school. Fuck you. Cretin Durham Hall. Also, Isha, did you watch all the Mighty Ducks movies?
Yeah.
So in the 3rd movie, do you know what the school is that they attend?
So I'm guessing it's this one.
No, it's called Eden Hall Academy.
Okay.
And it's a combination of Eden Prairie, Cretin Durham Hall, and St. Thomas Academy.
That's so funny.
They are the 2 seed. They came out of a tough battle, but they were the favorite to come out for their section. Number 3, Maple Grove, who was a team that was actually the number 2 seed in their section, Rogers was the team expected to come out ahead in that, but Maple Grove, always a strong program. Just interesting to see them pull off the 3, although some would argue with me, I guess. The 4 seed, this is where we get into the fun, Isha. The 4 seed is Moorhead High School, a team that I have historically supported wholeheartedly in the AA tournament. Orange jerseys, the Spuds, what a cool fucking name.
Oh,
Matt
yeah. You showed
Cullen
me this
is
one, yeah.
like the poster child of Moorhead hockey. And, Section 8, got to cheer for the Northern teams, and they've done a good job. They have dismembered Eden Prairie for me a couple of times. So they've always been a team of mine. But guess what? This year's different because the spoof Dave Spihar account posted something saying that when Roseau was upset by Elk River, it was basically, he didn't watch the game, but he just knew that Roseau fucked up and laid an egg. And I just commented because, like, I follow both those programs. Like, they're the programs, and green jerseys, and they're the Rams. Like, Roseau, that's a pretty cool thing. I'm like, oh, damn, I was really looking forward to that championship game. And some random person on Twitter replies, maybe next year. I'm like, I need to dig into this. Marcus, our man. Again, I'm going to cheer for Moorhead right now because I think they're our only chance to beat some of these private schools. But Marcus, had you guys made it to the tourney, I was going to be your biggest cheerleader. Elk River High School Elks, which we learned that a group of Elks is a gang. So definitely full-on Elk gang.
Elk gang, baby.
They upset Roseau. Not only upset Roseau, but Marcus, who's the one that clapped back at me in a very subtle, calm way. Dude put up a fucking Hattie against them to do it. So fucking cool. Marcus,
wow.
Ball out, man. Maybe I'll just randomly run into Marcus at the tourney if he goes. But they actually were tight with Moorhead through the first 2 periods, like tied all the way through. And then finally Moorhead just pulled away, got a couple goal lead. Then goalie starts getting pulled. It ends up getting out of hand. The 8-4 score is not indicative of how that game went. Elk River, really cool that they went that far with them. And Moorhead, I mean, they had been a top 10 team for most of the year. So, but hey, kudos to my Elks. That's right, Elk River High School. But Moorhead's probably the team I'm going to support the heaviest out of this crew. Then we've got the 5 seed, who will naturally play Moorhead, Andover High School. Andover of late has been a pretty strong program. Actually, I think they were runner-up. Maybe no, they might have won the tournament a couple of years back. And both boys and girls teams fucking stacked. My brother actually coached some of the girls in Elite League in the summer and just said, like, yeah, there's no chance they lose this. But Andover, they were at large expected to make it in. Then we have, of course, the random draws. Well, Lakeville South High School, which that one usually goes to Lakeville South or Lakeville North. They unfortunately have to match up with Hill Murray, which that's the one that's most up for debate because I think they were like 20-something and 3, and they got stuck with the number 1 seed, whereas Prior Lake was the 4 seed in their section. Edina was not the 1 seed from their section, and they both got more favorable matchups. So that's where I think this process kind of gets fucked, but whatever. I just mentioned Edina gets in, and it's weird. I'm kind of conflicted because I love it when they get in because then I get to hate them, right?
Yeah,
like I want them to be there so I can hate them. It's a weird. I got a whole complex about me. I need to talk to my therapist about it. But
I know because even I'm picking up on this with you and Edina.
Fucking cake eaters, man. What is the quote? So it's on that Dave Spihar's that spoof account. It's the state tournament, the time of year when the northern teams hate the metro teams hate the private schools, and everyone hates Edina. Just incredible. It's incredible. I love it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Edina playing Maple Grove. That'll actually be a really interesting matchup. I could absolutely see Edina winning that, but I'm torn on whether or not to cheer for that to happen because I want them to be there on Friday so I can just boo the shit out of them. But at the same time, I'd rather have Maple Grove advance. And then the last team that made it in, Prior Lake High School, and this one was fucking wild, man. The 3 versus the 4 for the championship game, them versus Chaska, because both Minnetonka and Eden Prairie got upset by these two teams, and tight matchup all the way through. And Prior Lake, you saw the videos, you saw the pictures, it all went viral. Apparently Spittin' Chicklets was stealing people's imagery. How dare them? Oh, so awful.
Fucking Getty Image 2.0, bud.
But Prior Lake comes out ahead. They had sick, filthy jerseys. I'm telling you, Isha, at the outdoor games in Mankato, when I went down to watch the Hockey Day Minnesota, they were playing in the high school game. They have a guy who's highly touted for Mr. Hockey. And hey, they came through. The 4 seed from their section made it through, and they get to play Cretin Durham Hall. So first matchup here, Prior Lake, Cretin. Who are you taking? Or sorry, Cretin Durham Hall, if that makes it any more or less appealing to you.
I'm going Prior Lake, and I'm trying to find the jerseys. I'm looking online.
Dude, the Winter Classic ones were sweet. All right, then we have Edina against Maple Grove. Maple Grove being the 3 seed.
Well, I mean, everyone has to hate on Edina and Maple Grove. That's our boy Zeke's team, so we're going Maple Grove, baby.
Oh, baby, the Maple Leaf. Oh, maybe that turns you away from him.
By the way,
I have a Maple Leaf on their jersey, Isha.
If anything, I'm gonna. If it's a red Maple Leaf, then we're good. If it's blue, they can fuck off.
It's not blue. It's not blue.
Right, then we're good. Then we're good. I thought, by the way, Zeke was Canadian for the first time because he had a Maple Leaf on his Twitter profile, but.
Yeah, that's for Maple Grove. All right. Then we have 1 seed Hill Murray against Lakeville South.
Let's go with the random again. Lakeville South, baby.
Isha's going the unique route.
Yeah. Full send, as Hoppy would say.
Full send. And then we have the 4-5 Moorhead versus Andover.
Moorhead. That's who I'm choosing. The 4.
Isha's always opting for Moorhead. Love
it. Oh, sure. Why not?
All right. Well, yep. I'm beyond excited. I don't care how these roll out in the first matchup. I will be at all of the games on Friday. Super excited. If anyone else is going to be out there, let me know. Whether it's meeting up at the single A games, because you can kind of go and sit wherever you want, or meeting up in between or before we go out for the double A games. Again, hit me up, DM, tag me, whatever. But I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun.
Dude, especially coming off like the COVID break of it all, right? I mean, everyone's probably just jonesing like they were with like Hockey Day Minnesota, like with the beer dabbler events, everything's kind of opening up with like a massive allowance of an attendance, and it's just amazing. So I'm super excited for you, my friend, and I know I'm not going to be hitting up the state tourney this year, but hopefully soon, and a few more moving forward. So excited to soak it all in when I have the chance, but excited for you to report on it on the sodapod and meet up with any of our listeners and anybody, any of our friends, within the Minnesota podcast world too, who are gonna for sure hit that up. And if the Bar Down Beauties have a booth, I mean, that's amazing too. Definitely go show them some love. I'm pretty sure everyone who listens to our podcast also supports the Bar Down Beauties, which, by the way, I had to send a text to Jesse between recording here. I feel like such a dick. I was supposed to bring her on the podcast this week. Totally forgot to touch base midweek. So I said, yes, it's my fault. But like, you could have said like, hey, we still doing this.
Why would you do that?
Because I mean, like we text back and forth about random shit every now and then. I feel like we could have been on that level, but no. It's all my fault, Jesse. I'm sorry. The early watch long is what threw me off, to be perfectly honest. The earlier game. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's my kind of excuse. Not really an excuse, but just want to throw that out there. Anyways.
Now, Isha, all we have to look forward to is the crazy videos from the Hockey Hair. Not only for the state tournament, but also Back Channel, of course, will put out their annual Hockey Hair video.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up the show, just want to give another quick shout out to Lupulin Brewing. It's still, big beer week this week.
Still big beer week.
So go check them out. You know, Hoppy, what day are you hitting up Big Beer Week?
Undecided, but if you're listening to this, there's a decent chance I've already gone.
Okay. There you go.
It's probably going to be earlier in the week if I go.
Outstanding beers there. Check out the lineup if you haven't already. If you go later in the week, so if you're listening to this and you can hit it up on the weekend, that's where everyone from Lupulin suggested if you want to try more and have more options, there'll be a lot more options there because, well, of a lot of the new beers on tap. So go and check that out. It's going to be unbelievable. Go listen to our podcast or video on our YouTube channel, The Sota Pod, or on the Sota Pod podcast feed for the full rundown of what Big Beer Week is, and continue to stay updated on the Sota Pod YouTube channel as, you know, probably not in April, but in May, there's going to be some content coming out of me visiting Lupulin Brewing. And I'm not going to look into the future too much, but I will. They straight up said that like they're gonna basically force a bunch of beer down my gullet. And just black me out. So I'm sure there's gonna be some funny content in that. They said that there's gonna be some sort of crazy beer bong. So I'm just saying that the folks at Lupulin, they're gonna take care of me. They're gonna take care of you at Big Beer Week. They're unbelievable. If you want some crazy beer content, stay subscribed to the Sota Pod YouTube channel. And if you want to stay up to date on everything Lupulin has to offer, go check them out on Instagram and social media as well. I mean, fuck, man. When Justin was saying, oh, yeah, we're going to hang you upside down and do X, Y, I like tuned out and I was like, what the fuck am I getting myself into, Hoppy?
We're going to find out.
And he's serious, too. Like, that guy was like, he had the fire in his eyes. He's like, oh, I can't wait to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, bro, I'm Canadian, but like, I'm still like a normal human. Like, I've drinking beer before. Come on now.
Well, no, you're about to drink beer.
I'm about to drink beer. Fair enough.
Yeah. The random throw out too. Anyone that has suggestions for beer, restaurant, fun, whatever that Isha should do in the Twin Cities or Duluth, let us know.
Yes, I'll be in Minnesota for 2 weeks, the great state. So let us know prior to April if there's anything you think I should hit up, any breweries, any restaurants. I don't know if I can give myself the title as foodie. I love to cook and I love eating.
You love food, but that doesn't make you a foodie. Everyone
No, I know.
Food.
So like there has to be something in the middle that's like, you know, not like a total foodie like nerd, but someone who like appreciates food more than the average like human. Anyways, I fit that title. I'm very excited to hit up some of the restaurants as well in Minnesota. So if you have a joint that you think I should hit up, let us know. Comment on iTunes too, because that's just like, it's win-win. I get the recommendation and it boosts our searchability. So there you go. You go.
Yeah, 5-star review. Tell us where to go, and there's a good chance we'll go.
Boom. And hey, if you meet us there, I'll buy you a beer. There you go. Thanks to those tuning in on Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Folks, the best thing you do for us this week, any week, is give us 5 stars on iTunes and Apple Podcast. Also, like we just said, let me know if there's any breweries, restaurants, or anything I should hit up. Any hiking trails too, by the way, because Minnesota, I hear just outside the cities or within the cities, there's some amazing hiking trails along the rivers and stuff too. So I'm just saying, anything there, and give us a 5-star rating as well. If you're joining for more hockey content outside of the Minnesota Wild or just Minnesota hockey, go check out our website, thehockeypodcastnetwork.com. And on your app, please download the episodes before you listen, as it just helps our business. You can follow myself at VI Sports Talk. You can follow Hoppy at State of Hoppy. You can follow the Sota Pod at the Sota Pod. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos. We really appreciate it. Live videos every Sunday and video content from our podcast recordings every day of the week. And of course, support the Hockey Podcast Network at HockeyPodNet. Signing off, I'm Isha Dromi alongside the State of Hoppy. This has been the Sota Pod presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. We good, man?
Tourney time, baby. We great.
Let's go. Don't fear. Just drink some beer and stay wild.